How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. We're excited. Positive parenting, it's a topic that I was just telling everyone that no matter how well we think we're doing, we can probably always be more positive.
I know, and we're kind of confused by what positive parenting even is, and I know we're going to clear some of that.
Sweet. Well, I love it. Well, I know you have a hard stop at 11:30, so let's go ahead and dive right in. And our whole point is to give parents tools
Yeah,
for life's grand improvisation, which is parenting,
yeah,
and to put better tools in their toolbox, because when you know better, you do better. So um,
exactly.
with that said, why don't you tell us how you found your way to becoming the parenting coach with a focus on positive parenting?
Yeah, I know. Not something I planned in my childhood to do,
Oh,
but it
come on.
happened, and I'm so glad that it did, and it is the best job. So, how I really got here, long story short, so we can make sure we give lots of time for tools today.
Sure.
I started my journey as a kindergarten teacher in the States with my master's in early childhood. I've always loved kids. I always wanted to be a mom. And my focus was really about helping kids be the best that they can be. And after I had kids of my own, I was just fascinated by their milestones and fascinated, why could I get my kid to sleep at 4:30 at night and sleep through the night? Why were my boys not fighting? Why were my boys doing what they were doing? And everybody kept asking me, like, why does your toddler act like that? Why do your kids do that? Like, and I was like, why are they doing this? Because I know they're not just, but just like my kindergarten students, they're not made this way. They're a product of their
Right.
environment, and we're able to guide them. So what was I doing that other parents weren't doing? And I took all of my education and my teaching practices and my experience with my own kids, and I became certified in positive discipline, and I created my coaching program, the Parenting with Purpose method. And now I show parents exactly how to achieve literally easy days with your kids, where you have a sense of positive discipline, where you're still teaching and guiding, giving boundaries, giving expectations, but never with yelling and guilt and punishment and all the things that later make us feel like, why did I act like that? So we really take all of that out of the equation. So that is how I got to where I've got. And now I've been working with kids and families for over 18 years. So
That's awesome. Cool.
yeah.
Well, I was just on hold with the insurance company for an hour and 25 minutes, and my kids, by the end of it, were like absolutely melting.
Well, yeah, I would have been melting on hold with the insurance company for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah. Like, okay, I'm about to learn how I could have probably handled that more positively.
Yes, we will
So,
do that. Yeah. In the chat, or who's listening in, has questions, I'm happy to answer anything.
great. Well, that's a perfect reminder, because we did get a lot of questions that came through already, but any live, we take them and we answer as many as possible. So fire away, everyone. Okay, so we found out how you found your path. So overall, we got a sense for what is positive parenting, but do you have kind of like a 32,000 definition, or just
Yeah.
a universe definition for us? Go
Yeah,
for it.
what we want to just clarify is that gentle parenting and positive discipline parenting does not mean your kids walk all over you, and that you have to just be like, okay, whatever you want, sweetie, whatever you need, I'm here. Like that, yes, we want to be kind, we want to be nurturing, but positive parenting and positive discipline parenting really means that you have expectations, you have boundaries, you follow through, but you always do it in a way with mutual respect. So we are not treating our kids any different than the way that we would want to be treated. And I find where the gap mainly happens is, a lot of times, either we were parented with super authoritarian parents who really like drew the line, and they were either, physically aggressive, or, they yelled and they screamed. And so as a parent, we're like, we're not doing that. So we go overboard to be that gentle parent that becomes too permissive and lets their kids walk all over them. Or we have a partner one way and we're the other, and we try and counterbalance it. So finding that middle ground is where you're going to have kids who listen the first time, who really feel respected, who are apt to really cooperate with encouragement and not force.
Nice. Okay. Sounds good. All right. How can I connect with my child every single day
Yeah.
In this way, in the positive parenting light?
Yeah. So we want to build a connection. Our kids are going to do better when they feel better. Just like you said, when we have tools, we're more equipped, we're more apt to do a better job. So when our kids are feeling connected and bonded to us, they're more apt to listen and cooperate and to do better. So if, for everybody who's listening, if you haven't been following me, Tia Parenting Coach, go to the link in my bio. We have a free golden time guide. If you are not doing golden time, you need to be doing golden time. So golden time is a 10 minutes a day. That's it. I know you're busy. You might have multiple kids, working parents, 10 minutes a day. And there's really 5 key ingredients. I'm going to give them to you, but you can get the guide. So if you don't write them all down, don't panic. It's really one-on-one. We need our kids to really feel like they have our undivided attention. We are really busy throughout the day and we're kind of like, yeah, whatever you need. We're not really focusing. So we're going to have 10 minutes one-on-one where we're focusing. To help us focus, unplug. Put your phone away. My kids, when they were younger, our parking spot for my phone was in the kitchen junk door. And their most exciting part of golden time was to be able to take it and park it and be in charge of it. So that gave them more power. So unplug and focus on your kids. I am guilty of having clients on my phone and answering emails, and it's good to unplug for everybody. Choosing something your child loves. Give your child the choice to choose an activity of what they're going to do with you during that 10 minutes. This gives them power, makes them feel in control. Simple, simple tools that really work in a variety of ways. You're going to make sure that you do it twice a day. So morning time, 10 minutes. That's the one that parents kind of panic, but find 10 minutes. It will save your day. And bedtime, just label your bedtime. So the 5th ingredient is name it or label it. So hey, once you introduce it, and the guide will explain this, but once you introduce it, when you say when you're ready for bed, then you can have golden time. Your kids are going to be more apt to motivate because it's all about them. They're still just getting their stories. They're still just getting their song at bedtime. They're still just getting their tuck in, but you're labeling it. So they're getting a signal that says, hey, this is about me. This is my time. So parents, we need to get more bang for our buck. You are doing golden time plenty of times throughout the day. You're driving to the grocery store one-on-one, you're dancing to songs, you're playing bubbles. Tell them, oh my gosh, we're getting extra golden time. How cool is this? So get more bang for your buck.
I love that. Okay, so that was 5 things?
That's 5 things, yeah.
Okay, so one-on-one, unplug, choose something the kid loves, 2 times a day, and name it. Okay.
Give it a name. So my son, when he was 4, named it golden time. We have called it golden time. Hundreds of my clients have called it golden time, but they've also chosen their own. Your kids might name it special time, pink time. I've had unicorn time, whatever they want to call it, as long as it has a name that they recognize.
Okay. And how early do you start that? And when does golden time kind of end?
Yeah, it never ends. I will say, as parents in relationships, we all need golden time. If your partner is too busy for you, you're like, holy hell, my cup is empty. I need some golden time. So let's spend that time together. So we all need golden time. Be really consistent with it when you're trying to resolve behaviors. As you get older, you'll find, as the kids get older, you'll find you just do golden time without even really having to label the whole thing and do the whole thing. But I want you to try and do it from the time that you have young ones. Your kids are going to know when you're giving them attention. You might not be labeling it with your 1-year-old, but you're going to be spending that time. Make a conscious effort. And then when they get old enough to understand that label, introduce that. Make an activity list that let them help choose what they want to do. And then you can grow from that point. Okay.
Do you have a tip? Because I often find myself with the 2 little ones. I've got a 4-year-old and a almost 2-year-old. In bedtime, sometimes I'm on my own. So how do you do golden time with 2 when you have to put them to bed simultaneously? Do they get split time?
I always had to put my kids to bed on my own, so I feel you. And I have 2 boys who are just over 2 years apart. So I lived in those exact shoes. So what we want to do is we really just want to schedule ourselves. So my kids always went to bed super early. So if your kids are kind of melting down at bedtime, we need to start everything earlier, or we're not going to be successful in bedtime or golden time or any of it. So sleep is super, super important. So starting early enough that you're not rushed, and then set your older one up for success. So if your older one can go to bed 10 minutes later, then let your older one either watch a show on your bed or read a story in their room or look at books or have a quiet activity box that they can choose from while you do golden time, knowing that when their brother or sister is in bed, you're going to come in for theirs. So they often feel empowered to stay up a little bit. They feel like the baby brother's going to bed first or the baby sister. They know that something great is coming, and we're helping them build that independence at the same time.
Okay. Well, that I guess also depends on whether they can fall asleep on their own, which right now is not.
Oh, then you need to message me, my friend, so we can.
Not so awesome for the little one, because I tend My golden time is just putting him to bed and then on my phone, like catching up on junk while he falls asleep. Not exactly awesome, but there you have it, people. We're winging it.
Uh,
Doing the
uh, and you know what I say to parents? No judgment from any parent on anything they do. Honestly, you get to do what you want to do. And if nothing's a problem for you, it's not a problem for anybody else and it shouldn't be. But if it's a problem for you and you want to resolve something, there's always a solution.
All right. Well, I'll figure out how to do some golden time at night because I think my kids would do very well with it. Favorite strategies or changes that parents can make every day to adopt a more positive parenting coach? Well, certainly golden time. I'm going to try to figure that out this morning for sure.
Golden time. Language. So here's another awesome tip for parents. So often the way we phrase things and the way we say things actually opens the doors for power struggles. So if parents who are listening want to take a guess, like if we think about what is the most detrimental 2-letter word that we use, that we say all the time.
No.
What do we think it is?
No.
Yeah. See, everybody guesses no. It's actually not no, it's if. It's if. So we overuse no and we use no in the way we shouldn't. And there's ways we want to get out of autopilot no, which we can talk about. But if is a word we use all the time that opens the floodgates for power struggles. If you do, I'm leaving you. If you don't do that, I'm taking it away. If you're not ready, then that's fine. We don't need to go to the birthday party. If you do that one more time, I mean, how much does this sound like, everybody, right? Exactly.
Totally.
So, and most of the time, our ifs are empty threats, which teach our kids not to believe us or listen to us or trust us because we're not actually going to do the things we say anyway. Right. And so when you say if, you teach your kids that I'm picking up my end of the power struggle rope and I'm waiting for you to pick yours up and show me that you're not going to do what I tell you to do. So we're going to change the word if to when. So when your shoes are on, then we can go to the park. When your homework is done, then you may use your device. When you're done your dinner, then you may go watch your show. Whatever it is, change if to when, and you will feel so much better. Your kids will respond so much better. You will minimize power struggles.
I love that. It's when then.
When then, exactly.
All right. Gosh, I got two major takeaways that I have to employ stat. Okay, let's see. Parenting then versus parenting now. How did parenting evolve and what are the differences? I think we all can reflect on our own upbringings and answer it in our heads right now. But have you seen kind of any global overarching in all the 18 years that you've been working with folks? And
yeah, well, one, we've as a whole in a community are starting to realize that kids deserve to be seen, heard, and understood, and they have feelings and they deserve respect and they don't deserve to be overpowered. And so we're building a better generation of kids who are going to be adults one day where they feel independent and responsible and heard and you know, that they have that mutual respect. So that's a huge one. And more parents, my business has just grown and grown because more and more parents are becoming aware of this and realizing I don't want to parent the same way that I was raised. Not that it was all bad or all good, but that we just want to make changes. And we want to do differently. And then with that whole phenomenon, we also have technology. And so technology, we are parenting in a totally different world. We cannot expect things to be the same as they were years ago. Our kids know more. They're growing up faster. They can access things that they could never access before. As parents, we're having to understand how to set boundaries, not just on, you know, coming to the table and going to bed, but how do you keep yourself safe on a phone and on a device and so many things. So I think as parents, the same tactics aren't going to work because the world is not the same place.
True. Very true. I'm going to tie this question in there because I thought this was an interesting question. What is one piece of parenting advice that we hear often that you think should be retired?
Yeah, that your kids should listen because you told them so.
Right.
Yeah, you live in this house. I pay for this. You need to do it because I told you to do it. Like that needs to be retired. That will leave you in your power struggles. That will keep you exactly where you are. So we want to shift out of that paradigm completely and remember that our children's behaviors are a direct reflection of our parenting. So if we want to change behaviors, we need to shift our parenting to shift their behavior. That is the magic. So parents say, what's the magic pill, Tia? What's the one thing that will work to get my kids to listen or to go to bed or to do things? The magic pill is learning the skills to shift your parenting, to shift your child's behavior. And that is it. And to tie with that, another thing that everybody has to know is you're not supposed to have it all figured out. Parenting is not intuitive. It is a skill. There is no way for you to know the difference between tantrums and meltdowns just miraculously because you were a child once and now you're a parent. You've got to take time to learn these skills.
Yeah, it's true. And we often get more help, as I often say, like getting married than having a baby. I mean, there's so many tools and magazines or what have you to get married. And then you bring home a human, they send them home. It's like, well, okay. And you call what you know, right? So it ends up like being the fraternity hazing thing, good, bad, or ugly, or maybe it was positive, whatever, right? It just perpetuates.
Yeah. And because we're so emotionally tied to our kids, it's our responsibility to raise these humans and make sure that they eat and they sleep and they do their homework and they're successful and they're kind and they don't hit people at the park. And it's all on us. And we feel this pressure. And if we don't have skills, don't feel pressure. Like, you've got to say to yourself, if you don't know how to perform heart surgery, you're not going to go do that tomorrow. There's no pressure. We're not doing that. We're not crazy people. We're not doing that. So why do we think we're going to parent without the skills? Why do we think we're going to parent and just know how? Stop thinking you're supposed to know how. But the cool thing is, if you want to know how, you totally can.
Right. So how do you deal with when the two parents have different parenting styles? Like, I mean, one is like, sometimes I just hear stuff and I go, don't put that on her. You know, that's crazy. Like, stop. Oh, if this happens, then the coyotes are going to come.
Yeah.
Like, how do you deal with that when it's like, okay, busy, doesn't have time to, or mindset or kind of desire because it's not in the front lines all the time? How do you deal with the parents who are trying to get the other parent on board and to learn new skills?
Yeah. So the big thing, and more times than not, parents that go through my coaching program, one parent's doing it. One parent's doing it. Everybody thinks I have to have my partner on board to have results, or I'm never going to be able to change anything. And that's completely false. Because if we actually look at the stats, if 0 parents learn the skills and 0 parents move forward, we have 0 changes. But if one parent learns the skills and wants to move forward, we have changes. We have steps forward. So we've got to look at it that way. We don't need to look at it as a perfect, Pleasantville, amazing thing. Like, this is real life. But we need to know that we can we can make changes if we want. So if you're not happy with how things are going, you can stand up and learn and ask for support and learn those things. And just like we can't force our kids to change, we can't force our kids to sleep or potty or eat, we can't force our partners to change, but we can role model what that looks like. And what your partners will see as they watch is, oh, well, I want my kids to go to bed in 20 minutes, start to finish. Oh, I want my kids to get ready in the morning without fighting. I don't want to deal with this. And they will come on board if they want to come on board. I also parents, when 2 parents want to make changes, but one thinks he's right or she's right or she's right and she's wrong, and they're all over the place, a third party is really helpful, because now I just get to boss everybody and tell you guys what to do, and you guys don't need to create an argument over who is right or who is wrong.
Gotcha. All right. So new action, new outcome.
Yep.
And if not both are able to do it. Okay. So let's see. What are some positive parenting tools that parents can use with kids who are not yet verbal?
Yeah. Children's books. I feel like children's books are one of the most amazing tools that get overlooked. We buy books, we put them in our kids' rooms, we read them from time to time. Maybe you read them every night. But what we want to do is be intentional with children's books. So these are the reasons why I love them. 1, age-appropriate language to talk about hard situations, loss, grief, sibling rivalry, not listening, building independence, bedtime, potty training, picky eating, all the challenges that you think about, there are children's books for that. So what we want to do is think about, in order to help our kids do better, we have to, what we call TTP in our program, teach, train, and practice our kids, so our kids know how to do better next time. Children's books are a great way for parents to help their kids as they teach, train, and practice. So in my bio, again, on my homepage there's a children's book corner. I have designed this resource for parents. It's for anybody. It's broken down into sections. So if you're struggling with sibling rivalry or bedtime or picky eating, whatever it is, go to that topic area, click it. You're going to have a variety of recommended children's books. Browse, click, ship, or take the topics and go to the library. I don't care, whatever works best for you, but use those books. So think about your challenge areas, get intentional, get some books, and then have those conversations with your kids. When you're snuggling at night and you're reading stories and you talk about something, for example, let's say somebody's being bullied at school and they're having a really hard time. They don't want to go to school. They're afraid of somebody. They're sad. Then we read books on friendship and emotions and bullying. And then we say, well, how do you feel? Do you think you feel like Susie feels in the story? And kids start to feel like they're not alone. They're not the only ones whose parents divorced. They're not the only ones who lost a pet, who's being bullied or teased. And that's a really easy way for parents to use age-appropriate language, open the lines to communication, and help their kids start to open up.
Cool. Love it. All right. Let's see. What are some of your favorite tips you can give parents to avoid unwanted behavior?
Proactive parenting. So this is where we've talked about some. Golden Time's going to help fill those power and attention buckets. So that's great. We've talked about working on some language shifts. So there's a lot of like how-to tools that we definitely want to use. But the most important thing is to learn the strategies to avoid unwanted behavior. So I always say to parents, when we look at parenting, I always say key lime pie, it's my favorite, but like literally 90% of that key lime pie is proactive parenting. Most of us wait, and we're in that 10% where we get reactive. So I want parents to be 90% proactive, 10% responsive. We're not even going to react anymore. We're going to be responsive. But most of the time we wait for the fires to happen. We cross our fingers and toes. Oh, I hope they don't act out in the grocery store today. Oh my gosh, please don't. I just don't have the energy for it. And we just kind of hope that it's going to be okay instead of setting the stage for success. And the way that we set the stage for success when I work with parents is we go through what we call the child's behavior needs roadmap. And we actually go through the roadmap of emotional needs of power and attention, basic needs of sleep, nutrition, and security, as well as our parenting and how we create what we call 3 C's boundaries: concrete, clear, and consistent. If you are not 3 C's, your kids are going to push and push and push. Why? Because they're born to push boundaries until boundaries are found. So if you have wishy-washy boundaries, sometimes you give in, sometimes you don't, sometimes you say fine, sometimes you say no, they're going to be like, what? Well, I don't know. So they're going to push it until you yell. And so really learning to be proactive in our parenting is the most beneficial tool for avoiding unwanted behaviors.
And what you said can be applied to dogs too, right?
I have a new puppy, and she's I will tell you, everybody's like, your dog is so well trained. And I'm like, I'm a parenting coach. So I use the same rules on my dog.
Right?
Yeah.
I joke, but it's true that before I became a parent, I watched Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, and learned a lot about parenting from him without the,
Yeah.
But and it's so true. Kids want boundaries just like dogs do. And you have to be the captain of, to be their steward.
And we want boundaries. Like,
yeah.
Like if you think about, like, sometimes our kids don't even know what day of the week it is, but we're like, get dressed, let's go, time to go, turn off the TV, time for school, no, we're going to grandma's, no, we're coming here. It's like, holy shit, like, come on, like, what am I supposed to do here, people? I just want to play. What's going on? So what we have to think about is, if I showed up for work every day and I had no idea what I was going to do, and they just came in and started barking orders at me, I would be like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this. Like, our kids need to know what to expect. So sometimes we just see unwanted behaviors because we haven't even let our kids know what to expect, what's coming, what's happening. So much of that is so important in that proactive piece.
So we've done some pieces on ADHD, and it seems to be kind of more of a common thing, ADHD anxiety. I just have a question because I was reading something the other day that was talking about kids, especially younger kids, who if you tell them something that you're going to be doing in advance, right? Like, hey, we're going to go to so-and-so's house. Then they ask incessantly when they're going to that person's house, like incessantly to the point where, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my nut. Yeah. Do you have some behavior like that? Because I don't know that it's so much filling their cup, but maybe. Oh, a timer? Okay.
Timer, again, is my bio. Everybody can go to my bio. It's like a gold mine. There's everything in there. But when we want our kids to wait patiently, we need to give them some control over that situation. So sometimes, even to the same degree, you're talking with another adult and they're like, mommy, I need mommy. And you're like, okay, when I'm finished. And then they're like, but mommy. If you can set your timer on your phone, if you're out and you don't have your timer, for 5 minutes, and say, in 5 minutes, I'm going to be with you. Watch the timer. Come and get me when it's done. Now they know, okay, that she's going to be ready for me. She's going to be, this is when it's going to happen. Same thing. we're going over to a friend's in 1 hour. You might not want to tell them the whole hour. Maybe you do, it doesn't matter. Set the timer, let them know. This one I love because it has a yellow dial, which means it sets a warning time. So I set it for 30 minutes. Then I set the yellow one for 25 minutes. And that means when there's 5 minutes left, it beeps from green and turns yellow. They get a visual and auditory reminder. And now they know, oh, it's almost time. It's almost time. Either I need to be ready and out the door in 5 minutes, or we're going to our friends in 5 minutes, or they're taking my food away in 5 minutes because meal time is over. So parents in my program use this all the time.
Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. We have just a couple minutes. Let's see. You talk about attention and power buckets on your social media. What is it? How does it relate to positive parenting? I think we talked about some of them, but is there anything specific on attention and power buckets that you want to leave?
Well, we just want to remember that we talked about kids doing better when they feel better, but attention and power buckets, if they're running on empty, our kids are going to act out. So right. We look at attention. 2 things that you can focus on are the fact that kids are going to take negative or positive attention. So if you are reminding or yelling or using timeouts and punishments, they're like, oh, that's okay. I better keep acting like this because that's going to help me fill my attention bucket. So negative or positive. And then the other thing is perspective. And that's where golden time comes in. You are busy. You feel like your whole day revolves around your kids. You drive them, you meal prep, you grocery shop, you plan birthday parties, you bathe them. Like, oh my gosh, the whole day is about your kids. So you feel like, how could you possibly need more from me? But from their perspective, it's like, well, those things are your job description. You chose to have me. Where's my time? And that's where we're going to meet them in the middle with golden time. So golden time is going to help them understand from their perspective that you are giving them their attention. And then with power, we're thinking about, it's our kids' sense of capability, where they fit in your family, where they fit in the world, what they've accomplished during the day. So one really great tip for parents here is think about how much do you do for your kids that they could be doing on their own. I'm talking clothes picked up and put into a hamper, making beds, walking dishes to the sink. Every time you do something for your child that they can do, we tell them we don't think they're capable. We minimize their power bucket. We see more acting out. So start thinking about how you can set the boundaries to give your child more.
Okay. Someone just asked, for golden time, do you and your husband each do 10 minutes twice a day with each kid?
That's a great question. Hello there, Katie. How are you? So what we want to know is it's 2 times a day per child. It doesn't need to be 2 with mom, 2 with dad, or 2 with both parents. It just needs to be twice a day. So in my house, when my boys were younger, my husband would leave at 7 in the morning and he wouldn't be back until like 7:30 or 8 at night. So he never saw the kids until the next morning. So I, during the week, did golden time in the morning and I put my kids to bed. So I did golden time at night. When it was the weekend, he would do a little extra golden time with them. So inside my program, we use what's called an accountability calendar, where we really set the stage so the kids know who's doing the bedtime golden time, who's doing the morning time golden time, and they start to hold you accountable. Hi, Amy. So it's really important that we want to set the stage in advance. So especially if you're battling with bedtime and kids are like, I want mommy to put me to bed, or I want daddy to put me to bed, setting the stage with who's doing golden time when is a way that we actually behind the scenes resolve those challenges as well. So there's a method to the madness on everything that we do.
Okay, I love it. All right, well, we hit the 11:30 mark. You've got a hard stop. So thank you so much, Tia. It was really awesome. I've got some clear takeaways, so I appreciate the concrete clear, and I'll employ the consistent.
That's right. You're going to be 3 C's from now on.
Yes, I'm going to do 3 C's.
On your shoulder, like, Tia's trying to tell me to be consistent. But for sure, if anybody has questions, they can ask in the comment of your feed. If you're sharing this, tag me. I'll definitely share this on my story. If parents have questions, DM me. Go to the link in my bio, everybody. There's so many opportunities and resources. Hang out in there for a little bit. Let me know if I can help in any way.
And that's at Tia Parenting Coach. So everyone, thank you for your time. Tia, thank you. Appreciate it. And you know where to find her. And if you like what you hear, we're here every Tuesday. Different topics, different experts, and just putting more tools in our toolbox as parents. So
awesome. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. I'd be happy to come back anytime.
Awesome. We'll do that. Thanks so much, Tia. Take care. Bye-bye.